Symbology of the Bible. Clouds. Many people have a misguided idea of what clouds are when they appear in scriptures. Many believe they will be raptured out in the clouds before the tribulation. As we have seen, the dragon appears as the Lamb first, and we are required to endure to the end. Let's begin the study with this. Genesis 9 verse 13, I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. 14, and it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. 15, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me, and you, and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. 16, and the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. But what is this bow? The Hebrew is
Kishet, K-H-Sheth, from H7185, in the original sense of H6983, of bending, a bow, for shooting, hence, figuratively, strength, or the iris, arch, arrow, bow, bowman, bowshot.
The primary definition is a bow for shooting, a weapon. Every other occurrence of this word is in the context of a weapon, except one verse in Ezekiel where he describes his vision of the throne as the bow in the clouds. Is there any evidence to support the position that this is not a rainbow? Here is one verse that indicates a weapon. Revelation 6 verse 2, And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Here we have a horseman appearing from heaven with a bow, and he goes forth to conquer. This implies that this is a weapon, and the Greek for bow, as in this verse, is
toxon, toxin, a bow apparently as the simplest fabric.
This is not a bow of fabric, as tied around an object.
The various forms of the Greek root shown all relate to the bow as a weapon.
It is important to note that this writer has a crown, which means he is a king. We can make a connection by looking at the following verses. Revelation 6 verse 3, And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. 4, And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. 5, And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. 6, And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. We see in these verses that the scale is the type used for commerce. The first writer had a bow and a crown. These are zodiac signs of the tribes that are seen in the stars. Recall that Dan was the leader of the northern camp, which included Gad, the archer, and Issachar, the scales, and Judah is the king line. Upon examination, we see that Reuben's camp, south, and Ephraim's camp, west, are not represented here. Reuben and Manasseh, the 2 firstborn who were passed over, pitched together, and Ephraim, the most favored son of Joseph, pitched in the west, with Benjamin, Rachel's, most favored. As we saw in the zodiac study, Dan's symbol appeared at night, not during the day, as with the others, and we see in Revelation that he is not numbered with the others. What could this mean? One would think that the people of Dan are left out of the word, as far as prophecy and destiny. But if we look at verse 4 above, we find that the Greek for what is translated as sword is
Machiera, Makara, a knife, i.e., dirk, figuratively, war, judicial punishment.
The translators interpreted a knife as a sword, given their understanding of the context. However, great judgment is also an appropriate interpretation. Could it be that Dan, which means judge, is indicated here? Is there something behind the fact that Dan's zodiac symbol, the scorpion, appears at night, at its maximum, opposing, and in superiority to his other symbol, the serpent, and Draco the dragon, along with Sagittarius the archer? Continuing with clouds. Exodus 19 verse 9, And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee, in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. 10 And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today, and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. 11 And be ready against the third day, for the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. In verse 9, the Hebrew for thick is
Of. Ab, masculine and feminine. Properly, an envelope, i.e., darkness, or density, specifically a scud cloud. Also, a copse, and for cloud. Anan. Anan, a cloud, as covering the sky, i.e., the nimbus or thundercloud. Etymology. From H6049, the root is H6049. Anan. Anan, to cover, used only as a denominative from H6051 to cloud over, figuratively, to act covertly, i.e., practice magic.
It is the same word with different syntax, but the key is that it is the denominative form of cloud. This means that it is derived from the noun, but it is not the noun. If we understand it this way, it could read like a dark, thick cloud, or as a dark, thick cloud, not in a thick cloud, where cloud is a noun. As a sidebar, verse 9 can also be decoded to produce a message like this. They will lament, when I bring forth darkness, to cover the sky. But whomsoever of my flock gives an ear and understands, I will commune equally with, and support them eternally and adorn them. Furthermore, Proverbs 16 verse 14, The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. 15 In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. 16 How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding, rather to be chosen than silver. When we go to the Hebrew for verse 15 above, we find 1. Favor is delight, desire. 2. Cloud is the same as prior, envelope, darkness, and 3. Latter rain is spring rain, eloquence. The wrath of a king and messengers of death are exactly what are prophesied in Revelation, chapter 6. It would be better to interpret verse 15 as, He will envelop those he delights in with the living water, or alternatively, eloquently. Here is another cloud. Isaiah 19 verse 1, The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. When we go to the Hebrew for this verse, we find that rideth can mean dispatch, upon, over, swift, rapid, and cloud can mean envelope.
Rachav. H7392. Rakab. Rakab. A primitive root, to ride on an animal or in a vehicle, causatively to place upon for riding or generally, to dispatch, bring on horseback, carry, get oneself up, on horseback, put, cause to make to, ride in a chariot set. Of. Masculine and feminine, from H5743, properly an envelope that is darkness or density, specifically a scud cloud, also a copse.
We can interpret this verse as, "The Lord will send a cover of darkness swiftly over Egypt." And then we have this cloud. Ezekiel 1 verse 4, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire." Great cloud can be translated as loud and covering the sky.
Gedol, H1419, Gadol, from H1431, great, in any sense, hence, older, also insolent, aloud, elder or eldest, exceeding, great, man, matter or thing, greater, greatness, high, long, loud, mighty, more, much, noble, proud thing. Anun, H6051, Anan, from H6049, a cloud as covering the sky, that is, the nimbus or thundercloud.
Since this is Yahovah's chariot, it is more reasonable than an actual physical cloud. And finally, there are New Testament sites. Hebrews 12 verse 1, "Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight, and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us." Here we see the metaphor symbology of cloud. A large gathering, a cloud of people, like a swarm, is likened to a cloud. And this sight. 1 Corinthians 10:1 "Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea. 2 And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea." In Hebrews 12 verse 1, the Greek for cloud is nephos. Nephos, a cloud. And in 1 Corinthians 10, it is nepheli. Nephili, properly cloudiness, i.e. concretely, a cloud. An observation. Nephili looks very familiar.